Hey everybody and welcome. I've been trying some building stuff on the new ARK DLC Extinction. This is something new this time, a build progress video. What that means is that I've been taking breaks on building and I show the progress along the way. Talk a bit about how and why I chose to do a certain thing and what I'm planning so you can join. Here is the completed build. I'll put a link to the whole showcase video if you're interested in checking that out first. This video will have some speed building parts, but mainly it will be me showing the progress and talking through it. This base is built high up on these pillars in Sanctuary. It's a great base location, but not without its drawbacks. Cryopods and tech teleporters makes it pretty easy these days to manage ground creatures even in these hard to reach locations. I built this base over the time period of maybe 6 days or so. Probably spent 25 hours, something along those lines building it, excluding the recording and making of the actual video. I'm doing official settings at this point, so no Noclip, it's completely vanilla. This far, everything can be built on official server settings without any problems. What I know at this point is that I'm tending to use this big plateau to make a base both up on top and under it using a technique I've done before, where you avoid having to make pillars all the way to the ground. At this moment though, I'm running into a problem, namely this, too high above ground. Very annoying actually. I designed this so I can have a pathway down here, but I cannot have walls or railings up top here. So this ledge way down below, it helps with the too high above ground message. So on the left side here, it's okay. On the right side it's not, so it's very little difference. But that affects this build way up top, so it's a problem. And down there, on this ledge, that helps also with the too high above ground message, but not until you get further down, such as down here. You're so far down, so that actually has an effect, but up here, I cannot build. Also, when I'm using Noclip, I cannot get any nice transitions from the walls into this cliff here, but that's just something that you'll have to live with, I guess. Anyways, I'll get going and get back when I have more stuff to show you. Oh, and by the way, this is not Noclip, this is just lowered foundations with the ceiling on top. Alright, progress. I gave up on the official settings because I could not get around the too high above ground message. If you use Noclip, you can actually get around the error message. It's the same thing, but you basically have a bigger buffer, so you can get farther from the ground before you get the actual error message. It's odd, but that's how it works, it seems. So, while I'm doing Noclip, I might as well go all in, so I've designed this different pathway down here. And also clipped the walls into the rock, so that you get the nice transition, so you don't have any gaps. Now you can walk all the way down here underneath. We'll see how it turns out in the end, but the end goal is, like I said, to have several floors of this base. One up top and one is probably here down below, depending on how big I want to do it. Up here is a really big space, and I can get the structure underneath to be exactly the same size, but I will probably not do it. I might go down all the way there to this ledge down there, but most likely I will just keep two main floors and have a nice transition in this stairwell that leads down to it. These foundations up top will keep support for any structures I build on here, as long as it's connected, which it is in this case. I built the base on scorched earth using the same technique. It's also on my channel. I'll link this here so you can take a look at that if you're interested. That was on an actual official server, so no spawning content on that one. So, work is progressing. I've done some changes to the way you get down below, and I'm also trying out the cliff platform here on the left. it fits rather nicely with how the actual cliff looks. I mean, the whole base is centered around this main pillar back there. You can see the two lines of foundations going down the center. But I needed to put this path down here on the side. Partly because of how the rock looks, but also because I didn't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. I wanted to look a bit more interesting. But in order to balance it up, I still need to have more stuff here on the left. And then try and center the whole base down below. You can also see the first embryo of a pathway down here. This will probably be changed a lot over time. Started to map out some parts of the upper side of the base. I made this little area out here. It's an inverted circle there in the 90-degree corner. It's a nice little place where you can park flying dinos and whatnot. I intentionally made it not the same height as the rest of the build. I wanted it to stick out a bit more and not have properly straight lines everywhere. But in order to keep it all together, I still need to follow this pattern of tech and metal. You can see over here you have tech, metal, tech, and then you have tech, glass, tech, and then it keeps on like that. I will try and stick to a certain pattern all the way around the base if possible. You also get these little holes here in the wall. But it's not a problem, especially not now when I'm using Noclip, because I can just fill them in later without any issues. This circle is a 16-sided circle, and you can use fence foundations to make it. This whole circle section is actually not part of the main build. Down below here I will need to have structural integrity for the stuff I'm building down there, but this circular thing is not a part of that. It's actually a separate, detached part, if you will. These other foundations are the ones that will keep the main part of the base below up in the end. It's kind of big, this base already. I'll see if I can keep it small or if I can get carried away. And we're back. Making another circle here to ease up some of the flatness of the front here. I've also done some parts of the wall, making it a layered wall with combined tech, metal and glass. I can make walls and windows that are just not rectangular. Here I'm having some troubles with this circular thing. I will probably make it all the way up here. It's most likely like a tower above the actual base. Something along those lines. But I'm having a bit of an issue at the moment. This is just one of the things you can end up with when it comes to ARK and building. You can see this pillar right here. It's connected to that foundation and it works perfectly. However, if I put a pillar on this foundation instead, it doesn't work. No idea why. I've been doing debug structures to see compared to the other pillars. This one on the left works, but the other one doesn't. You can see that they're exactly the same type in terms of if it's a foundation and what it's connected to as this other pillar here. But it doesn't work, so it's really odd. And what's even worse, or even more odd I should say, is that when I put this on this lower snap point here, then it works. For some reason. Just ARK things, I guess. Okay, circles sorted. Now I'm starting to plan the actual ceiling, how it should look. And here in Sanctuary there's a lot of angles and angular stuff, so I'm thinking that the sloped roof outwards would look nice here to fit with the rest of the stuff, but structural integrity is kind of an issue because I cannot go out that far because it doesn't stretch as far as I would want it here. I might use this cliff platform for support, but that will only cover the left hand side of the base, so it might look odd. I really want it centered if I can. The rest of the stuff here, I've been living with this now for some time, and I think it looks good. This area here turns out nice, I think. And the circular build here in the middle mirrors that quite nicely from the inside. I like the design of this. It became kind of like an airlock when you move out, in and out of the base. These parts here I might keep open so that they go all the way up to the ceiling to let some natural light come through. Although, I mean, here in Sanctuary there are no night time cycles, so I guess that there wouldn't be a real point to it. And here we have the first iteration of the sloped ceiling. These are ramps. They go inwards compared to how they normally go. And the slope fit really well together with the rest. I've started to spawn in some creatures here as well. Snow owl and that thingy over there, which I cannot pronounce. Just to get the feeling for how big they are and where they should go in the base. Measurements, basically. Okay, so the front of the base is starting to take shape. Looks pretty decent, I think. I made this cliff platform here on the left that can house some tapijaras and pteranodons and whatnot. Also made a separate slope down here, or ramps down here too, this platform. I might put some storage here over time. It's kind of small at the moment though, so probably not. The balance of the base is actually kind of nice, I think. This platform is exactly what it needed. Because of the fact that it's larger on the right hand side with this area where dinos can hang out and stuff like that. You needed something on the left side to kind of balance it up. And this is doing the job nicely, I think. Obviously, as I go down further here, I will have to be mindful of this, so that the base doesn't start tilting. Up here, I will keep things centered towards the main pillar in the back there. So it becomes symmetrical towards that. That's important. But down here I'm gonna try and keep it balanced instead, but asymmetrical, if that makes sense. I made these two walls exactly identical here. Basically, the area where the asymmetrical moves over to the actual symmetrical. That's the cutoff point. Here, when you enter, you go through this airlock that I talked about earlier. It's kind of small, you won't be able to fit dinos here, but I intend to be able to fly up to the higher areas or higher floors on the space this way, but you can obviously not walk a dino in, it's too cramped. And I've been doing some work down here on the bottom half of the space now. So the upper part has not been moved along much, but down here you can see that we've gotten a bit further. So you have a designed pathway down here. This will probably change in the future, but something along these lines. So down here you have what will be the main structure of this level. I got this idea about some kind of reactor looking thing in this circular, or rather octagon shape. I'm not sure how far down I will take this, but probably a fair bit. Probably 2 floors inside of this one. These ceilings here that go up all the way is the thing that actually keeps this in place. There are pillars here, but they're there for show only. They don't carry any structural integrity, so I can remove them if I wanted to. But if I remove these ones, however, or these ones up here, then this whole thing will be falling down, so I better not do that. Here I've been playing around with some dynamic Tek bridges. You can put them down sloped as well, actually, or use them like this just for decoration. They reach pretty far, to be honest, but they're really hard to place. But you can see here, that's a really far distance. It's kind of insane, actually. We'll see if I incorporate this somehow, but at the moment I don't think so. Nothing much else has been done so far. It's getting a bit out of hand. It's pretty big. I think I need to lower my ambition a bit so I don't get it too big. Down here has come some progress as well since last time. There was still the same, but down here I've centered the ramp going down. And this creature is only here for measurement. It will probably not be there for the final version. Yeah, this side is a bit more complete and more like the way it will be. I tend to do like this to build a couple of sides done first, so I can get a feel of how it should go and how big it should be, and then I build the rest. I don't think I will put it all the way down there, but something along these lines. Here's one floor. There will be a ladder here so you can get down, and then one more floor down here. So we're back, and the reactor octagon beneath is almost done. It has basically 3 floors. This part up top here where you go up is not done yet, but this part is mostly done. Some decorations and stuff is needed, but most of it is done. There's this thing in the middle that goes through the whole build all the way to the very bottom, and if I go inside here, you will see you can actually climb all the way up using the stair here, or ladders, I would say. You can exit up here, and if you want to go down to the second floor here, there's a ladder. In this space you can fit dinos, in this you cannot, but you can then at least have some vaults or something here for storage. We also have a little balcony here with the glass underneath for extra scare, extra nervousness. It's not totally symmetrical. Parts on the sides are, but the front, if you can call it that, is not. This part where you enter has this balcony, and on the other side here is a landing platform where you can get the dinos in and out if you want. So yeah, the only thing I'm using here is Noclip, and I use that mainly in order to be able to get away from the no too high above ground message. Most of this stuff is doable with normal settings. Some stuff that is not possible is things like this, where I clip this into the rock above. That is not doable, but these other things are. They're easier to do with Noclip because you don't have to work around the mechanics that much, but this thing here and this whole section floating underneath is just normal settings. Can be done on official servers or anywhere. As you can see, there are foundations up here which will keep those ones underneath actually functioning. If I remove those, then this will fall down. But I better not. But yeah, here it is. Section, the bottom section is more or less complete.